Just bought a house with GF, now we are separated. I just bought a house with my GF, closed last month. We share ownership, although I make at least 2/3 of household income. We are now separated and will not be getting back together. Both still living in home. What do we do with the house? We bought it for 390k and put 5 down. How much would we need to sell it for and not be losing money with all the associated fees, etc.? Or are there other creative ideas? Not in search of relationship advice, lol. An expensive mistake, but far better than having children together. Speak with a realtor. Can you buy her out? Can you afford the mortgage solo? Constructive criticism aside. Look to rent out the house. Be roommates. Sell. Buy her out. Seems like the only options. Buy her out. Or sell it and lose quite a bit. At 5 down, you have to pay to sell. I'm guessing you bought recently, which means you can't rent it out without taking a monthly loss, at least that's the case in the majority of the country right now. You could get a roommate, that's not her, but I'd if a roommate covers 1/3 of the mortgage. Let this be a good lesson to you and everyone thinking rent is throwing away money. Renting is renting. And buying is buying. You do what is necessary for your time in your life. Don't let anyone sell you this stupid lie that you have to buy or you're burning your money. Rent the house out for swingers parties. Add a dungeon room in the basement. You're going to get shit on by fees, bro. Sell it for what you paid for it. Be prepared to bring cash to closing, probably $10-20k. This is going to be worth every penny. Sometimes in life it is better to pay the cash in order to mentally and emotionally be able to move on. You don't want this house to be an albatross around your neck for the next 3, 4, 5 years. Just pay and move on with your life. Here's a thought: you just closed on the house last month. Buying a home and moving is one of the most stressful things a couple will go through in their time together. That probably affected your relationship with each other. Can you wait it out a couple of months and see if you are still separated? I know you don't want relationship advice, but as a realtor, and having bought sold homes with my husband, I know we wanted to strangle each other each time we did. Is this a troll post? I feel like it is. People are going to criticize you for doing this without having been married, but let me assure you, this wouldn't be any easier right now if you were married, and it would probably be far harder. You wouldn't just be worried about what to do about the house, you'd be looking at splitting all resources in general. Call HGTV and make a TV show about it. This is gonna get good. Grabs popcorn. Sorry OP, I have no advice to give on this. Just wanted to say for any lurkers out there. When I was 14 I witnessed my sister and her boyfriend buy a house together. They were 19. They broke up and he ended up being a pos, and it began a 5-year nightmare for my sister trying to get her name off that house. It was a great lesson for me and is why I will never go own a house with anyone unless I'm married. As for the loss, you can just do the math on that. Look at your closing documents and you can get a sense of what the seller paid in closing costs, and identify if your situation would be the same or different, for example commission. What did you each pay towards the house? Can you afford it yourself? Do you want to live there? Sell it now or buy her out. Any other answer is messy. Same happened to my neighbor. He bought his GF out and had a roommate for a couple years. He just got engaged and just sold his house for about 45 more than he paid for it 4 years ago. Joke answer. Gasoline, match. Serious answer, buy her out if you are able. If not, bend over because it's going to be painful. One buys other out. If you can't, get roommates until you can. X200B. Unless your income isn't going to go up in the foreseeable future and you really can't afford the house, give her whatever she paid into it and remove from title. Cheapest option. Or lose money selling. Same thing happened to me about 20 years ago. I bought out my ex, basically paid her back everything she put in at that point with a loan from a family member, and had her sign a quitclaim deed which removed her from the title. I also had her sign a paper saying she was relinquishing all claim to the property, its contents, etc., and we had it notarized at the time, same with quitclaim deed. I got roommates and made it work. Wish I hadn't sold. 2 years later I did profit 60k, but if I would have stuck it out right now it would be 600k. If you are forced to sell, be happy to simply break even. This can easily be a 10 loss toe, especially considering fees. At this point, the disparity in income is irrelevant. The split is related to the amount of money by each party invested in the purchase of the property. Each of you should be responsible for that portion of the mortgage fees, and any proceeds from rental or sale should also be split at that ratio. This is no longer a shared home, but rather a shared investment between two entities. This is why you don't buy property with people you aren't married to. I stopped reading after you said bought a house with you. GF lol. You don't buy houses with girlfriends. If you're close enough to spend 400k together, you're close enough to get married. If you aren't desperate to sell, maybe rent it out. One of you could buy out the other, or sell it and write off the loss as a life lesson. Best option is to buy out her portion of the down payment first month mortgage. Since it has only been a month, I would hope you don't have to add in house appreciation. If you are able to buy her out, is she planning on staying until she finds another place and she would be paying you rent? If you sell, you are going to need to find a place to rent. How's the rental situation where you all are? Hopefully you guys took the well-informed advice all over this and the personal finance sub that discuss how to prepare for the inevitable breakup in advance of buying property with a girlfriend or boyfriend. You should have had a well-written, signed agreement outlining all of this. This could have been a lot worse. TBH. There is virtually no equity in the house, so you won't owe her much, if anything, when you sell it. You don't mention who put in the down payment dollar, but at only 5, that will all get eaten up by transaction costs. You could also buy her out of the house and keep it, assuming you can cover the mortgage. Get with a realtor. Maybe, just maybe, you can get out of this thing without bringing additional funds to the table. Your realtor will be able to outline all of that for you. Buy her out and take full possession of the property. Confirm with attorney, maybe will need to create a contract. Live there and rent out the other rooms to roommates. Next time write up a cohabitation agreement and work out solutions to scenarios out beforehand. The cohabitation contract should have covered this common contingency. Also cost and profit sharing terms. You couldn't make a commitment to marry her, yet you signed a 30-year mortgage with her. Never purchase a house with someone who isn't your spouse. Not trying to be a dick, but hope you learned your lesson, bro. Engaged is a different mindset versus being in a relationship. House purchases are a huge decision. Don't ever trust realtors because end of the day, that's their commission. Some realtors are honest and try to be a good helping hand, but they are salesmen at the end of the day and they depend on your sale for food on their table. Take the loss like a lot of investors do and walk away a free man. Roommates are harder to evict versus a full-on tenant. Offer to buy her out. Don't give up the asset now if you can. Figure out a way to rent it. What kind of title do you have? Joint tenancy or tenancy in common? The type of title will give you a starting point. Are you both on the loan? Could have a friend or family member buy her half. Have a property management company rent it out and split the income. Otherwise, you can sell, but realtors usually charge 6 sales price, and then title fees and taxes will be several thousand as well. How much did she put down? I would give her half of the down payment back. Have her quitclaim her portion of the house to you and be responsible for the mortgage until you can sell or refinance. Worth talking to a lawyer about. Buy her out from the amount she put down,